Hello again, everybody. Welcome into Sports Night. I want to say beautiful Friday because the temperature is great, but depending on where you are in our listening area, there may be a downpour. For most of the area, cloudy, and it looks like over the next few hours there could be some storms that rumble through here, but the rest of the weekend looks pretty doggone good, and that's some good news for people who are going to the Vanderbilt-Louisville Regional. The games are tomorrow at 2 o'clock, then Sunday at 3, and if there is the need for a Monday night decider, and I kind of think there will be, that one would be at 6 o'clock. And not that I'm issuing or giving out any deep, dark secrets here. I'm told that because of the proximity between the two schools, Louisville will probably end up taking more tickets than most of the road teams. And had they had the seating, they probably could have sold 8,000 tickets for each of these regional games. That's the kind of demand and the kind of interest that this particular series has because they're so close. As for the lineup today, Darren McFarland is out, a well-deserved vacation day. Hope he enjoys it. And Willie is over at Hawkins Field, and we're going to be hearing from him a lot from 4 to 6 o'clock. And we've asked for a little pinch hit duties today, and we've gotten some help from a guy who has been on this show any number of times in the past. Former Vanderbilt pitcher, former Major League pitcher with the Cleveland Indians. Our buddy Jensen Lewis is in town for the regional and joins us at our broadcast studio on Murfreesboro Road. Jensen, how are you?
It's great. Thanks for having me.
Good. Appreciate you doing this.
I'll tell you what.
Just don't ask for union scale.
Just to your Vanderbilt prediction, I think they're going to sweep them. I think they're taking them both. I think Tyler Beatty is the Tyler Beatty we saw during the regular season on Sunday. And I think he's going to bounce back in a great way. And I think they take both.
First of all, tell people what you've been doing, what you haven't been doing, and how it is that you might have a little time to watch some of this.
I've been playing, with the Chicago Cubs this year. Played AAA and got released, in the first couple of weeks. So just been training, waiting for a call. It's a long season. So got a chance last weekend to watch, every game of the Nashville Regional, and it was great to see the program again. Tim Corbin, obviously, when we played there, we were sort of the foundation, the building blocks. To see how far it's come now, just the fan following and the enthusiasm on West End, it's incredible.
Tell me how this kind of stuff works, because in college, it's very obvious there's a rah-rah attitude. It's much like you see in football and in basketball. Everybody is for everybody. You go to the minor league level, and having announced on that level, I know full well what it is. It is each for himself. You are fending for yourself. You are fighting for turf. You are trying to get to the major leagues. In the winning and losing, not that it's unimportant, but it's more about developing people to get to that level. Then you get to the major league level, and it's about you doing well enough to stay there and your team doing well enough. So of the three, which is the most fun?
Well, I think the college level has a unique effect on kids because it's really the last time that everyone is really buying in 100% to winning a championship. And that's not to say that you don't in professional baseball, but you're becoming a professional athlete to get compensated financially. And you want to go beyond college to be able to do things at a high level, and it changes some people's priorities. So, and I think it's twofold. If you haven't made it to the major leagues, the first time you go up, you have just a completely different outlook. Once you get sent back down, you have that bitter taste in your mouth. A little
more jaded.
Yeah, the promised land is where you want to be, And when it's taken away from you, whether by poor performance or what may have you, it hurts. And it puts you in a mindset that isn't really team-oriented. And you can become a little more selfish at that point because you want to get back there. And there's no question that the money is probably a large part of that because when you're in the minor leagues, you're not making nearly what you're making in the big leagues.
Right.
So I think college is probably the last pure part of a baseball player's career where everybody is pulling for everybody. You want to win a championship. When you don't reach, that dog pile in the middle of America in Omaha, it's a failure.
Jensen, I think only because I have done minor league baseball in the past do I have any real understanding of the struggle and the fight that there is. The stadiums are better than they were when I was doing minor league baseball. The travel is better, but certainly not to the major league level. And I don't think people have any idea the day-to-day struggle to try to keep yourself motivated on the minor league level. Kind of talk to me about that.
Well, I can tell you from experience, the Pacific Coast League is probably some of the hardest travel, I think, in the minor leagues. There's really no busing to the cities where most of the minor league levels are. You're getting up at 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning to catch a flight, which is probably going to be a connection somewhere, and then you're getting into your city at probably 12:30, 1 o'clock. Well, you got to be at the field between 1:30 and 2. Some organizations are different. They make you take batting practice on a travel day. But if you're doing that every fourth and fifth day,
it wears on you.
It wears on you. You're completely exhausted physically and mentally. And by no means, am I complaining, but I think people don't realize that takes a physical toll. That also takes a mental toll. And to be able to perform at a high level each and every night, when that stuff stacks up on you, it's difficult, and it's going to wear on you mentally. And throughout the year, the big leagues can seem so far away. Yeah. Regardless of the talent level, most guys probably have what it takes, but those are separators. If you got to keep grinding it out, you start to get to a point mentally where you feel like, is this really worth it? And some guys are able to get through it, but by no means is it a cakewalk. I mean, it's tough.
Okay, let me give you a specific scenario that happened, I want to say a week, 10 days ago. Kansas City's in St. Louis, and they get into a tough, tight ball game. You're shaking your head like you know where I'm going. They get in a tough, tight game where Kansas City scores a run. Jeff Francoeur homered to tie the game at 2-2. Then Kansas City tacks on two more to take a 4-2 lead. The rains come flying in, basically a 4-hour rain delay. The umpires are caught in a bad situation because if they say, enough, we've had it, the game reverts back to a St. Louis victory by Major League rules because they go back to the last full inning, which would have been the 8th. The Royals are sitting there saying, nope, umpires, stall it out, take your time, we're going to win, so do what you need to do. But the flip side is that when the game ended about 3 o'clock Central Time, there's no way the Royals got to the Dallas-Arlington area for their game the next night any earlier than 6 in the morning. How can that possibly work?
Again, that's Mother Nature. Those things happen. You deal with it on a case-by-case basis. That I've been through that before, where you get in, to a city after playing a really long game, having that much downtime, then having to fire back up, and be able to go to another city and try and it's a complete disadvantage for the road team by far. However, there's really no sympathy. It's, hey, this is part of it. This is part of the deal, and you just got to go.
What's the tougher grind? And I'm curious what your answer will be. San Antonio and Miami last night begin the NBA Finals. They've already played somewhere in the neighborhood of 10 to 12 preseason games, 82 regular season games. They've already played somewhere, give or take, 18 to 20 playoff games, and now they've got the finals. The major league guys have got a full season of 162 games, a 6-month regular season where they're playing 162 games in 180 days. gut feeling, which of these two player groups is more exhausted at the end?
By far, it's big league ball players.
By far, you think the NBA guys would agree with that?
If we had, and this is speaking from experience, if we had the amount of off days, just take the playoffs for example. It feels like the NBA playoffs have been going on for so long each year, and with all those off days in between, you got to think to yourself that that's got to be an advantage to get rest. Where you have 10 off days in the big leagues, you're playing sometimes 11, 12 days in a row, and if you get a rain out correct, and if you get a rain out, well, there goes your off day. You're either playing a day-night doubleheader, or you're having to use one of those off days because you got to hope that the club that you got the rain out with has an off day that matches up. So I would definitely say the wear and tear for sure, by far, is big league ball players.
Here's what I want to do. You know what's been going on in the headlines recently, and I want to come back and talk about this whole Miami performance-enhancing drugs thing with you and kind of get the perspective of somebody who's been there, who probably knows more than I do, even though I never let on that I don't. And I just want to kind of see where you go with some of this. Former Vanderbilt pitcher, former Major League pitcher Jensen Lewis is in our studio. He's in town this weekend to watch Vanderbilt Super Regional, and so we'll talk a little bit about what's been going on in this whole Miami thing that is sure to blow up even further over the next 4 to 6 weeks. Stay tuned. You're listening to Sports Night, presented by Baptist Sports Medicine.